Hey guys, Shady here, and for my first video I want to talk about PlayStation 3 and specifically 5 games I think you need to add to your collection. To kick things off, I want to talk about Ridge Racer 7. So this was the final numbered Ridge Racer game that launched alongside PlayStation 3. Why I think this game is special is because it's one of the few PS3 games that's a full 1080p and it runs at 60 frames a second. So if you didn't know, Sony tried touting the PS3 as like this 1080p machine because their whole selling point was that it's actually like a generation ahead of the Xbox 360, which obviously didn't end up being true. There was minimal difference between them, really. If anything, 360 was probably better. But that's besides the point. So this was actually a great way to kick off because it did showcase a full 1080p game and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So if you're not familiar with what Ridge Racer is, it's basically a circuit drift racing game. So you'll go around doing your laps and you have tons of corners. You need to master the art of drifting to be able to stand a chance. So you are going to find it a bit difficult at first, but you need to persevere, get used to drifting, and you're going to have a really good time. There's like 40 different cars in this. There's like 28 plus tracks. You've got tons of mode. You've got Grand Prix mode. There's a mode where it's all about like customizing your car and getting new cars. You can even play a standard arcade mode, 2-player split screen. You also get to play the game Xevious, if you know what that is. It's like a top-down 2D shmup, one of Namco's arcade games from back in the day. You play it at the title screen, but then I can't remember exactly what you do, but you can actually fully unlock the game. So you basically get a copy of Xevious with this as well, which is kind of cool. That's always a bonus for me, really. I love it when there's games within games. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. This is going to be a bit of a different one. So, JRPGs are some of my favourite games, so they're almost always going to be included in these lists, or I'll probably do lists about them at some other time. But one I want to talk about is one that I think not as many people really speak about, even though there's other games in the series that people kind of like as well. This one's never in the conversation, and that is Disgaea 3. So, if you're not familiar with Disgaea, it's basically a SRPG, or strategy RPG. So you have a grid, you have your characters, and it's almost like a chessboard. You have to move them across, and when you hit units, you have your attacks have certain ranges, and you have to basically strategize on the fly constantly. You take your turns, and you do your battles. This has a full, usually 100-hour story mode, but then that's only just scratching the surface. There's probably like 1,000 hours worth of game in here, because you have this specific thing called the item mold, which basically any item in the game, and I mean any, like even just the crappiest healing item, like the first sword you get, the best sword you get, like an item will just recover your MP. You can go inside of that item. You can go into different floors where you fight enemies, and each floor you go up, it levels up that item. So you can take a really rubbish item and turn it into an amazing weapon or something. And yeah, that is awesome. Also, it has a great sense of humor as well. You're gonna be laughing your ass off, because as you can see in the back, it kind of has this kiddie kind of anime-ish look to it. But that's just all kind of a veneer, if you will, because it's actually got more of a funny kind of adult sense of humour. So it's a great contrast. A very unique series. I mean, all the games are worth playing, but this one in particular I want to mention because I feel like it's kind of like the forgotten one, because it came out kind of early on the PS3's lifetime. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. This is one I really love. This one is also not an exclusive, but I played it on there anyway, well, when I first got it. That's Mirror's Edge. See, Mirror's Edge is a really cool game. it's a first-person parkour platformer. So, like, there's nothing else like this that I can think of. I think there is that, what's it called? Ghost Runner? Or whatever that game's called. That's another one similar, but a bit more action-based. And this one is more of a, sort of open level kind of design to it. So in this game you play as Faith, who's a runner, and you see runners get messages from one place to another, and they have to use their skills of parkour together while avoiding security and police and whatnot, because this is a society that's like heavily oppressed and like basically a police state. So, if you're out of line, the police are after you straight away, and the game kind of plays into that, because you have to like avoid them constantly. You got to find the best routes, and yeah, you can get into some combat as well, but you want to avoid it really. But why this game is really interesting is it has this really like beautiful art style. There's a lot of like whites and reds and just a lot of bloom lighting. I know some people think bloom lighting is a bit overplayed, and one of the kind of funny things in this console generation, like every game used it, but it works perfectly in this game because the color schemes. Another thing I would say about this game is, even though it's short, it's like a lot of fun, and you're not going to have mastered the game in your first playthrough. You're going to want to keep playing and getting better. I would really compare it to Sonic, where you kind of, like when you're just starting in Sonic, you're on the lower path first, and you kind of, you just about get by. But as you improve, you learn that, the higher up I stay, the faster I keep my momentum, the quicker the level will be, kind of thing. It's similar to that, where you have this momentum mechanic where you can, if you do the jump at the right time, you do it instantly almost, and it'll keep your pace, and you can go into a roll jump, you can jump off a building, you can spin around, and just like, it's like a real thing of beauty when you get good at this game. So definitely give it a try. Like I said, it's also available on 360 and on PC, so I would recommend buying it in any of them really. But anyway, on to the next one. So the next game is actually going to be Ultra Street Fighter 4. The reason why I picked this particular version is because this one, if I remember correctly, was only on PlayStation 3. It didn't come to 360, and they did later port a version to both the Xbox One and PS4, but at launch it wasn't great. There was a lot of issues with lag and graphical glitches, so it needed like a patch, whereas this version is like everything's on the disc already. So, it's one of those rare games from, these newer generations where you have everything on a, it was kind of a thing they used to do back in the day. Obviously, Street Fighter's always released different versions, but I remember the PS3 and a little bit on the PS4, they used to do these things called like Game of the Year editions and stuff. So, they'll add all the DLC and the fully patched version of the game onto the disc, for preservation purposes. And that's why I think, for that reason, this is the one you want to go for, really. As of now, it's not too expensive, but I predict maybe in the future it might go up in price. But, that's, I suppose, when Sony pull their servers, so, you won't be able to patch other versions of games and stuff. For the PS4, that is. I don't see that happening anytime soon, though, but you never know. Okay, and the last one is actually a game in one of my favourite series. One I have a lot of love for, and also kind of cheating because it's more than one game, but I'm sure you'll forgive me for that. And that is the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. You see, what makes this awesome is you basically get like, I think it's technically 10 Metal Gear games. It shows on the back, so you get Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, 4 Peace Walkers. If I'm correct, that should be, yep. And, oh yeah, technically you got 2 digital graphic novels, so those aren't really games, I guess. Smallest 7 games. But, oh yeah, one thing, you won't actually get the first Metal Gear Solid on there, because it was a download code, annoyingly. That's the one thing I don't like about this. But besides that, it's pretty great, because you have near enough the entire Metal Gear franchise on, like, 2 discs. All great games. The Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which has, you know, the bulk of the games, Metal Gear 1, 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and Peace Walkers, all on a single disc. All great games. Metal Gear Solid 2 being probably one of my favourite games of all time. And these games were, well, the HD collection was actually done by Bluepoint before they were bought out by Sony. So you know that, you know, there's that level of quality that you get from them, where they're like full 720p and really great. Also, MGS4, it's a bit of a strange one because I feel like it's a bit of a love or hate kind of game, very divisive. I personally love the game myself, and I think there's a lot of really quirky Kojima moments in it. If you like his games, I think you're going to enjoy it. Another thing, it's probably never going to get ported to any other platform. So, like, pick it up, really. It's definitely worth it. You know, PS3 used strange hardware, and, you know, Kojima's left Konami now, so I don't think it's ever leaving the PS3. You could buy both these separately as well, or, you know, just buy this collection. It is a little bit pricey if you get this particular one, because it comes with a, it's a cool little art book, which has some really cool, like, concept art and stuff, you know, to do with all the games. You even got, like, box arts and stuff. Really cool. You know, like I said, you don't need to get this particular version. You can buy them both separate as well, if you find it a bit cheaper. And the good thing is, as of now anyway, you can pick up the first Metal Gear Solid digitally on PSN for the PS3 while the server's up. If not, you can just buy the original game anyway, and it plays, because PS3 has PS1 backwards compatibility anyway. Then you can also pick up Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain as well, all on the PS5, and Revengeance, so you should definitely do that. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you found this video, then like and subscribe. There'll be more content to come in the future. I'd like to vary things up, not just do this sort of stuff, but other things as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one.